welcome to another video here on A+ SimRacing. I'm your host Ken, and in this episode of Praga Hotlaps, we're taking a look at Ningbo International Speedpark. This is yet another circuit where before making this video I had no experience on it whatsoever. I learned it from scratch, so there's still definitely going to be a lot of improvements that I can make in the future, but I think for the purpose of this video I've got it good enough at least to guide you through a lap at Ningbo International Speedpark in the Praga R1. So there's quite a lot to unpack on one lap of Ningbo. There's a lot going on: twists, turns, different types of varying turns, double apex, opening radius. So I'll do my best to guide you through with what little experience I have. And then of course, after having a look at a lap in the cockpit, we'll take a look at a lap with the chase cam so you can get a better view of the relation between the car and the track, where it is on track, how close to the edge it is, and all that kind of stuff. So let's get on board the Praga R1 and take a look at a lap around Ningbo International Speedpark. To start the lap, you have a fast kink to the left, followed by the first braking zone. Leads into a double left-hander. It's almost small enough to say that it's a double apex, but it's kind of two turns there. You can see it's separated by a little bit. Full throttle for this right kink. And then down at the end of the straight here we have another braking zone. Start braking about where the curb begins. This next bit is tricky. After this chicane, the right-hand turn radius keeps opening, and you want to have a good entry and keep on the throttle. So if you don't have the right line, you're going to end up running wide there, or you'll have to get off the throttle at some point through that continuous right-hander. For this left-hand hairpin, brake around the 100-meter board and trail brake into the turn, and it starts to get tighter as you go through. It opens up onto this bit of a straight here. So you want to try and optimize your exit from that hairpin and get the most speed you can down before the 90-degree left-hander at the end. Start braking about where the curb begins, and as you come out of that turn, get ready for this left-right chicane. Try and use the curb, stay away from the sausage curbs there on the inside. Bring the car over to the right and open up the next chicane via left-right. And that brings us to another left-hand hairpin, which is followed by another short straight, so try and get a good exit there. And next is another chicane. It's slightly downhill, so careful on the brakes. Don't cross the white line as you go on the curbs there. We have another right-hander. Make sure you get it turned all the way in so that you don't run wide on the exit. And now for the final few turns of this lap. As you come through that left, you want to keep the car over to the left to open up the next turn, which is the right, and then keep it over to the right to open up the final turn, which is going to be a left, leading to the start-finish straight. And it's a long run, so you want to make sure you get the best exit there that you can. So that is a lap around Ningbo International Speedpark in the Praga R1. So let's take a look at that lap from the chase cam so you can get a better view. Here we are at the start of the lap. It's a long straight with a left kink, and you want to be over on the right side near the curb when you go into the brakes. So you come into this turn using the curb there. There's a little bit of a section before the next turn. It's almost like a double apex turn, but it is a double left. Keep on the throttle through that right kink all the way down to the braking zone here. Getting on the brakes around where the curbing starts as you turn into this left-right chicane. Now this is the awkward long right-hander that opens up on the radius. You want to make sure that you get the right line through there. You can't be too wide or too narrow, otherwise you'll have to get off the throttle throughout that turn or run wide on the exit. Now for this hairpin, it's a late apex, and you can get a better view of it here that you couldn't really see from the cockpit view. And you really want to try and maximize your exit because we have this long straight at the end. This left-hander at the end of the straight is just a simple 90-degree turn, nothing fancy about it. Just take it the best that you can. Keep the car over to the right to open up the entry to this left-right chicane. And as you exit the chicane, move over a bit to the right to open up the next left turn here. Careful with the throttle through there because you can get a bit of wheel spin. And now we have another hairpin followed by another short straight, so try and get a good exit from this turn. And at the end of this straight is the chicane that's slightly downhill, so be careful on the brakes there. And we have another long right-hander. Careful not to run wide on the exit. And as we come into the final few turns of the lap, you'll see how you want to set up your next turn. You compromise your exit to have a good entry for the next one, but ultimately that last turn coming onto the start-finish straight is the one that you want to optimize the most. And that is a lap around Ningbo International with the chase cam. So that lap was by no means a competitive lap. I just learned it, and I think having just learned it, it's pretty decent. So if you're just learning Ningbo and the Praga R1 and you're getting around a 144 and change, then I think you're on the right track. I spent a few hours learning and practicing, and that's what I got my time down to. And I'm pretty sure that, there's room for improvement. I just have to put in more lap time, or times doing laps, get to know the track a little bit better and find out where you can keep the throttle on a little bit more aggressively than maybe some of the areas around the track, being a little bit more careful to not get wheel spin. Maybe pushing the brakes a little bit later, using less brake pressure. All these kinds of things to try and get a few tenths here and there. Might add up to another second because there is a lot going on this track. Lots of fine movements that you have to do. You could easily lose or gain some time in this turn here we're watching right now, that long right-hander. If you don't get the right entry line, then it's going to ruin your mid-corner speed, and you'll have to either scrub off speed to not run wide, or come off throttle, or in some other way compromise the turn or the section of the track that you're in, because it is fairly complicated. There's a lot going on. There's lots of chicanes. There's a couple of different types of hairpins. There's just many opportunities at Ningbo to lose or gain lap time depending on how you approach each different section. Well, that's all I have for this video. I hope you found that useful and enjoyable. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you next time.